Hi everyone, you all know I'm a sucker for a blush. If there is a new release, I am going to buy it, I am going to try it, and then I'm going to share my thoughts and feelings with you, usually in a get ready with me video or in my faves and fails. So, the only problem has been that in the last few weeks there have been so many new blush releases, I just can't fit them all in. So I thought I would collate all of my thoughts together and put every single blush in this video, a little bit like a foundation roundup. So I'm going to show you these blushes on bare skin and also a full face of makeup. I'm also going to show you them in studio lighting and in natural lighting as well. We're going to go through absolutely everything that I'm hoping will be valuable information so that you can pick and choose. You don't have to buy every single one of these because I'm going to do the hard work for you. So we have blushes from Armani, Charlotte Tilbury, Haus Labs, IT Cosmetics, Bare Minerals, Huda Beauty and Iconic London. I know there's no affordable alternative within this mix. That's just the way the new releases have fallen at this moment in time. As soon as there is a new affordable blush on the market, I will be buying it, I will be trying it, it will feature in a video, I do promise. However, some of the price per mil comparisons have shocked me. Some of these are really decent value for money. We'll get into that. Let's get on with it. If you are new here, hi, my name's Gemma. I upload new beauty content on this channel every single week, and I would love it if you come and join the family by clicking on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. First up, we've got the Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tint. These are going to set you back £36 in the UK. You get 12 mils worth of product or 0.40 fluid ounces. These come in 6 different shades. I've gone for the shade 50.5, which is Rosy Peach, which I actually have on today. And I've also got the shade 62 Delicate Mauve, which is the shade that I try on in this video. These are incredibly easy to apply and are going to give you a luminous finish, which is incredibly flattering on the skin. That luminosity isn't going to emphasize pores and texture. It is very, very subtle. It is chic. It is classy. It is just stunning. Although I wouldn't usually recommend a liquid blush to a beginner because most liquid blushes are so super pigmented they can be quite scary and overwhelming, these are very pigmented, but because they are so easy to apply and blend out so beautifully, I think a beginner would be able to grasp these with both hands and just run with them. There is zero sparkle within the finish of this blush, and I think that's incredibly important if you do have any sort of texture on your skin and you're worried about a bit of glitter, you will be safe with this one. The luminosity is subtle, very skin-like, but definitely there. It's just gonna give you a very soft glow. Another thing I love about this blush is that it's really lightweight. You can't feel it on the skin. It's also incredibly long-lasting, which is a real bonus for me. I don't like to be reapplying blush throughout the day, and this one will last the test of time. And it's not tacky to the touch after application, which also is important for me, especially if I have my hair down. The last thing I want during summer is for a little bit of a breeze to blow my hair into my face and my hair stick to my cheeks. That is not what I'm after at all, and that does not happen with this blush. I luckily adore both of the shades that I picked. In fact, sometimes I choose to mix them together. If your budget will not stretch to buying both of these, my personal favorite is 50.5 Rosy Peach, which is the one that I've got on today. It is just glorious. Very, very flattering on me, and yeah, subtle, but you can have it punchier if you want it. Next up, we've got the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Island Glow Lip and Cheek. I don't think this is a new product. I think this has just been reborn with different shades. If it is actually a new product, then to my recollection, it's exactly the same as the old product, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. Anyway, it's been called something different. I don't think it was called this before. It's gonna set you back £30 and you only get 2.5 grams worth of product or 0.08 ounces, making it £12 per gram. £12. And in my opinion, although I like this, I think it looks really pretty on, it's my least favorite out of the entire collection, and it's the most expensive per gram or per mil. This comes in 5 different shades. I've gone for the shade Beach Peach Glow. It's a cream blush formulation. You can apply this with a brush, with a sponge, or with your fingertips, and it's going to give you a dewy finish. Now, depending on how much pigment you want on the cheek, depends on the finish, because the more you build this up, the dewier it's going to get, and it can look quite wet on the cheek if you want a lot of pigment. Now, you don't need a lot of product because it is a really pigmented product to begin with, but if you are wanted that really flushed look, you're gonna have to apply quite a bit, and yeah, it looks shiny. Again, there is no sparkle in this blush. However, if you do have a lot of texture, open pores, then the dewy finish may emphasize those areas a little bit if you don't apply this in moderation. The major negative for me is that this leaves a tackiness on the surface of the skin, which can be quite sticky the more you build this up. It reacts like glue. My hair was constantly sticking to it, and it just made me feel a little bit sweaty, a little bit unclean. It wasn't the nicest feeling. One bonus that I can definitely say about this though, the packaging is beautiful, and it really is a great product for on the go. Very easy to get your finger in and just tap it on the cheek for a little bit of extra color. Next up, we've got the Haus Labs Color Fuse blush. This is the only powder blush that I'm going to be reviewing in this video today, and I'm really pleased that they've released a powder blush because, let me just say, it is stunning. This is going to set you back £28. You get 5 grams worth of product, or 0.18 ounces, making it rather expensive. The second most expensive gram for gram in this video at £5.60 per gram. This comes in 6 different shades. I've gone for the shade French Rosette, which is utter perfection on my skin tone. I absolutely love it. This is, once again, a really pigmented product. So if you are a beginner, I would recommend powdering the area with a loose powder before you apply this. That way it will make it a little bit easier to blend out. Not that it's difficult, but because it's so pigmented, sometimes it's a lot easier to buff a product out, to buff a product into the skin if you've already got a base of powder on there to begin with. This is going to give you a really natural matte finish. So if you have any imperfections on your skin, any texture, any open pores, this can be incredibly flattering over those imperfections. Just helps to diffuse them all and make them less noticeable. I think it's incredibly beautiful. If you are really frightened of a super pigmented blush, and I'd definitely put this blush in that category, then apply it with a larger, fluffier brush. The fluffier the brush, the less pigment you're going to get on the skin. The more compact the bristles of the brush, the more pigment you're going to transfer to the skin, and the more vibrant the blush is going to seem. So a larger, fluffier brush, this will seem a lot less subtle on your skin and slightly less scary. If you're wanting va-va-va-voom, use a smaller, more compact brush. Next up, we've got the new IT Cosmetics Glow with Confidence Sun Blush. This is going to set you back £32 in the UK. You get 18 grams worth of product, or 0.63 ounces, making it £1.70 per gram. And joint top spot with another blush in this video for the most affordable blush, gram for gram. This comes in 5 different shades. I've gone for the shade 20, which is called Sun Blossom, and is just chef's kiss. I have every single blush under the sun in my collection, and I don't think I have one that is exactly the same shade as this. It's beautiful, and I absolutely love it. This is a cream blush, and it is a proper cream blush. It's not a cream blush that feels sticky and balmy like it should be a lip gloss. This is a proper creamy consistency, really nice, very nourishing and hydrating on the skin, and gives you a diffused, luminous glow. So it's very subtle. It's not anything in your face. You're not going to be able to see the luminosity from the moon. It's not got a massive shine to it, but the sheen is there. Now, whatever you do, don't swirl your brush in this like I did in the application video. I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I applied it in that way. I just wasted the product. You don't need a lot of this. Just tap the brush in the product once. it will pick up enough product to sometimes do both cheeks, but you can gauge it when you put a dab on one cheek, whether you need to go across to the other side. I applied way too much. Regardless of whether I applied too much though, this blends like a dream because of the consistency. It doesn't stick or go patchy in any areas. It just blends seamlessly and melts into the skin, making your skin look glowy rather than people saying your blush is lovely. Which one is it? They will just say your skin looks beautiful. For a creamy blush, this is also really lightweight. I was expecting it to be a lot heavier than it was, which was a pleasant surprise. It just felt like skincare on my skin, which I thought was really pleasant. The one negative that I found with this is the packaging. Now, initially, I really liked the packaging. It's chunky, it's quite heavy to the touch, it feels expensive, but it's not as practical as, say, the Charlotte Tilbury packaging that I spoke about earlier on. The Charlotte Tilbury packaging, you could use a brush, you could get a sponge in there, you could also get your fingers in there and apply it with the tips of your fingers direct to the cheek. This one's slightly more difficult because you've got the rim of the pot to deal with. So if you do have really quite long nails, it's going to be a bit messy if you're wanting to apply this with your fingers, especially if you're down to the bottom, the dregs of the product right in the bottom of the tub. That is the only negative I can come up with this. It's long wearing, it doesn't budge on me throughout the day, it also doesn't lift throughout the day, which was a very pleasant surprise considering the consistency of the product, it being creamy, it being so lightweight, but all in all, a triumph. Love this. Next up, we've got the Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue Bronzer. You can use this as a bronzer as well as a blush. I personally don't like to use this particular shade as a bronzer, but I do think it's incredibly pretty as a blush. This costs £25.50 in the UK, and you get a staggering 15 mils worth of product, or 0.5 fluid ounces. This is gram for gram or mil for mil, the same price as the IT Cosmetics. So the most affordable blushes that I'm going to be reviewing in this video today at £1.70 per mil. This comes in 5 different shades. I've gone for the shade Kiss of Pink, which is a lovely warm pinky shade. It's a liquid blush and it's going to give you a radiant finish. In my opinion, this is the least pigmented blush that's going to be featuring in this video, but please don't read too much into that because this is still super pigmented. If you apply too much, you are going to know about it. Another thing that you do need to know is there is a hint of sparkle in this blush. If you are opposed to any glitter or sparkle or radiance on your cheeks of any kind, you are not going to like this. I do think it's subtle though. It's barely there. I notice it when I'm in the sun. I don't always notice it when I'm starting to apply the blush. So I don't think it's in your face sparkly. It's a really nice, subtle, classy radiance. So like I said, this is still really pigmented, but it has versatility. So with a tiny dot of the product, you can have a barely there flush of color, but it is also very easy to build up. If you're wanting something with more punch to it, you can definitely get that with this. Also incredibly long lasting, and when I say incredibly long lasting, I mean it from the bottom of my soul, from my big toe, totally long lasting. I actually swatched these on the back of my hand. In fact, I swatched all of the blushes on the back of my hand yesterday. I couldn't get this one off. This would not come off with just water like the rest of them would. I had to get an oil cleanser to remove that. So you may love that, you may hate it, but at least you have the information now. It didn't want to go anywhere. Just like most of the other blushes that come in this video, you can apply this with a sponge, with a brush, with your fingertips, very, very easily. It blends out beautifully. Just don't get too much on the skin in one go because it will be frightening for you. I'm not sure I'd recommend this for beginners because there is such a huge shift in pigmentation depending on how much you apply. It goes from incredibly subtle to super scary. There's not very much in between. So yeah, I'm not sure that I would recommend this. If you were a beginner when you tried this for the first time and you had no issues, however, please let everybody know in the comments section. This is really pretty and long lasting on my skin, but It also leaves a slight tackiness on the surface, and again, that tackiness becomes more tacky the more you build this product up. You can diffuse the tackiness with a little bit of powder, but that will also diffuse the sheen on the surface of the skin. So I guess it's up to the individual. If you add powder to the Charlotte Tilbury, I don't think it actually diffuses the amount of stickiness on the skin. So overall, if it was a choice between two sticky products, I would go for this one every single day of the week over the Charlotte Tilbury one. It's still really beautiful though, but because of that tacky finish and also because of the radiance that this product has, I don't think it is the most flattering blush on my texture and my larger pores. So again, not my favorite, but a beautiful blush all the same. Next up, we've got the Huda Beauty Blush Filter, £24 in the UK, 4.5 mils of product or 0.15 fluid ounces, making it £5.30 per mil. Actually quite expensive for a mid-ranged blush, but it's stunning. I'm not sure whether I think this is absolutely divine because of the consistency and the formulation, or whether the shade of this just won me over immediately. And I'm still shocked I love this, but it is glorious. So this comes in 5 different shades, and I've got the shade Cotton Candy, which is a beautiful peachy pink. I've never really been into pinky tones, especially grey pinky tones. They just completely wash me out. But because this is a peachy pink shade, a slightly warmer pink shade, it just sings to me and I want to wear this all the time. I've not got it on today though. Not got it on. I have fought the urge. This is a liquid blush. It's super long lasting. It's very pigmented, and it's going to give you a really natural soft focus glow, which is a contradiction in terms, glow, soft focus, but seriously, this is really blurring. It's very soft focus-esque, and yet you're going to get a little bit of luminosity to the cheeks, which is incredibly flattering without that luminosity highlighting pores, texture, etc. It's just stunning. I did a get ready with me with this blush not so long ago, and did mention in that get ready with me that I've seen this applied direct to the cheek, and I've never seen it look nice done in that way. I much prefer to apply this to the back of my hand and then smush it out a little bit, go in with a brush and then stipple it on the cheek. I just think it's much softer, it's much more subtle that way, and easier to build without it becoming frightening, because like I said, this is pigmented. Once again, this has 0 sparkles in here whatsoever, so it just adds to the fact that this is super, super flattering on my skin and doesn't emphasize my pores or texture. I would say with regards to the finish, rather than me describing it as a soft focus glow, I would say that this is more of a demi-matte, so you get all the qualities of a matte product, that diffusing, airbrushing, blurring, without it being flat on the cheek. You still get that natural luminosity shining through, which is just beautiful. Whilst I'm waxing on about this product, it wouldn't be fair if I left this little bit of information out, because I have mentioned it for all the other blushes, whether that be a really tacky blush or a really sticky blush. This does have an element of tackiness to the surface of the skin. However, it's remote. It is tiny, tiny, tiny. But again, it wouldn't have been fair had I not mentioned it, because it is definitely there. That element of tackiness though does go completely with a dusting of powder. So if you're going to powder in place anyway, you're not going to be faced, or at least I wasn't faced with any tackiness after powder. If you're not going to powder this in place, and you don't need to with any of these blushes, they don't need powder, it's not a necessity, it's a choice, then you are going to get a tiny bit of tackiness on the surface of the skin. Out of all the blushes that I'm reviewing in this video today, this one has a really strong scent. Haven't noticed scents with any of the others, but this one, does it smell like strawberries? It smells very, very sweet, like cotton candy, or candy floss as we call it in the UK. It's not unnervingly sweet. I can put up with it because I love this blush so much. Would I prefer that it didn't have that scent in it? Probably yes. but it's a very girly, sweet fragrance, and it's definitely there. You can smell it once you're applying. Once you've applied, however, it dissipates very, very quickly. Let's chat about the iconic London Blurring Blush Stick, another one of my favourites for its texture, for its blurring capabilities. It looks incredibly flattering on my skin. So this costs £23 in the UK. You get 6 grams worth of product or 0.21 ounces, making it £3.80 per gram. This only comes in 3 shades, which I think is a bit of a shame because I would have liked more to choose from. I've gone for the shade Mimosa, but there is also a really beautiful subtle pinky shade that I have my eyes on and I will be buying in the very near future. This is a creamy stick blush and it's going to give you a natural matte finish, which is also, just like the blush that came before it, really blurring and airbrushing on the skin. Again, not going to do miracles. It's not going to completely airbrush all your texture and your pores away, but it will dumb them down and make them less noticeable. This is seriously, seriously pigmented, and I don't like applying this directly to the cheek because of that. Also, it dries down quite quickly, so you don't get a lot of time to work with it. So because of that, I like to apply this direct to a brush and then stipple it in place rather than going in with your fingers or with a sponge. For me, brush application is the best way to go with this. You can use your fingers on the go, however, so this is great packaging for on the go, but instead of applying to the cheek and then blending it out with your fingers, I'd apply it direct to your fingers and then move it onto the cheek, because the warmth of your fingers will really help to blend this out a little bit better than just applying this straight to the cheek and going in with your fingers, if that makes sense. I prefer blush application, but you can use your fingers. As long as you know not to apply this directly to the cheek, I would say, even though this is really, really pigmented, can I say that anymore in this video? Really, really pigmented. I would recommend this for beginners, as long as you have the information to know how to apply it, to make sure that it blends out easily and quickly, then I think you would be absolutely fine with this if you are a beginner to blush. So that's it, they are the 7 blushes. If you are in the market for a new blush and you're wanting to try something different, I hope I've been able to give you all the information that you need so that you can make a decision of which blush is going to be right for you. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe before you leave. Hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.